Morning, everyone. Just a moment. We will start shortly.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us here today. Very delighted to have many of our client companies here joining us, as well as colleagues from Enterprise Ireland, and we'll be discussing a very unique opportunity that's opened up in the German healthcare system. We have a very speaker with us today, Mr. Carsten Schmidt. He has a long history of various managing director and sales roles in the German market, with a particular interest in digital health and medical technologies, as well as being a lecturer at German universities and business schools. So we are very delighted to have him here today, and he will give us a unique insight into this new opportunity that's coming out from this new digital healthcare law in Germany. And he's really going to drill into how Irish innovative companies can potentially benefit from this. Mr. Schmidt, delighted to have you with us here today.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for the invitation. And best greetings from Hamburg in the northern part of Germany, the most beautiful city in Germany. And we have today very sunny weather.
Brilliant. Then without further ado, Mr. Schmidt, I will share my screen here, and you just let me know when to change slides then, okay?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hello, everybody. As you get some information in the short introduction, I will show you and give you a little bit insights into the current situation of the German market in digital health. Yeah, a little bit under the main question, how to bring digital health solutions to the German market, and how you, as an Irish company, if you have a product offering or solution offering in the field of digital health, can benefit from this. This is all based at the moment of strategic activity of the German health minister, who tried to support and increase the grade of digitalization in the German health care system in various in different areas. And one area is also the German hospital area. And so they created a new law, which is called the German Hospital Future Act, or in German, a very difficult word, Krankenhauszukunftsgesetz. And that means that there will be in the future a total funding of 4.3 billion euros. That is additional money to support the process of digitalization in German hospitals. This is now a main question, maybe how you can benefit also from this, because if there is new money in the market, it means 4.3 billion euros. So this is also potential that there's a huge possibility that you as an Irish company can sell your digital health solutions also into the German market. Yeah, this a little bit is an introduction, and then the next slide, please. So I don't want to explain too much about me. You get some information in the beginning. My background is our company, the Digital Health Port, is more or less a strategic sales and marketing consultant, and we help companies, some companies from Germany, but mainly companies from abroad, to get a footstep into the German market and to help them to introduce their solutions into the German market. So the next slide.
Absolutely, and may our attendees know, if you have any questions, please type them into the chat box, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of Mr. Schmidt's presentation. So thank you.
Great. So the main question in the beginning is a little bit what is the current status of digitalization in Germany? I mentioned first, and this is the main topic of my lecture also for today, is the part in the middle, the KHZG, the Krankenhauszukunftsgesetz, or in Germany, the Hospital Future Act. What I mean is that there is at the moment a total funding of 4.3 billion euros to move forward in the digitalization in Germany. In total, when you have a look in digitalization in German healthcare sector, Germany is comparable to other countries in Europe, more or less far behind. So we have areas and we have countries in Europe that are far ahead, like Scandinavian countries, or when you have also a look to the Baltics, small countries, but very, very innovative when it comes to digitalization in healthcare. So in Germany is not more or less in the middle. I think we are in the last quarter in Germany, so far behind. And as we are aware of it, and also the German health minister is aware of it, he started 2 years ago a strategic plan to speed up this process. And to speed it up, the German health minister start to create and develop some laws that should help the players in this market to get a better realization. And based on this, we have meanwhile 2 new laws in place. One is more or less focused on digital health solutions that are used directly by patients. So the name of this law, you see it on the left side in my slide, is DVG. It's das digitale Versorgungsgesetz, digital care law. So, and that means that in the future, or since last year, so the law was published in 2020, and the realization was in 2021. And since last year in September, doctors in the field are allowed to prescribe and digital applications for their patients, and to implement a digital application into the therapy plan. No longer only to prescribe a medication, a drug, but if there is still in the market now also a digital solution available, the doctor is allowed to prescribe it, and the costs is fully covered by the health insurance companies, means 100% full reimbursement. What does this mean? If you are a patient with chronic pain, in the past your doctor only prescribed drugs to lower your pain, but in the future is also allowed to prescribe an app which helps you and accompany you to realize your pain therapy and lower your pain also by using the applications. So this was the first step to speed up the digitalization. But this is focused more or less on B2C business with clear addressing to the patients as a target group. So if you have a digital solution as an Irish company which focused on patient, maybe this field could be interesting for you as well. The second topic is then this Hospital Future Act, which means that the grade of digitalization also in hospital is not very good in Germany. Too much manual work. One example, if you have a patient in the hospital, you have to take maybe 8 times per day the vital data from your patient and put it in your hospital information system. This is at the moment often a manual process with a lot of labor work. 8 times a day, the nurse has to go into the patient rooms, take down maybe with a pencil and a paper the blood pressure of the patient, the temperature of the patient, the pulse rate of the patient, goes back into a room, type in all this data that you take manual into the hospital information system. On the other side, you have innovative solutions where maybe in the same situation, a nurse can go into the patient room with a tablet or with a smartphone, take down this vital data directly with a tablet, and then you have it directly also in the hospital information system, and maybe you can then also use forecast like the EWS, the early warning score, which is very familiar with you in the UK. So, and in this example, you see that German hospitals are often very far behind. And to speed up this so that the hospitals are able to invest in this innovative solutions, as I create in my example, the German health minister built up a fund of in total 4.3 billion euro, which should be spent in the next 4 years to hospitals. The hospitals can apply for this money, and when they get this funding, they are able to invest in this very innovative solutions. And then we will have a third act, which will realized and established in the middle of this year. This you see on the right side, DVPMG, Digitale Versorgungs- und Pflegemodernisierungsgesetz, very difficult German word, very bureaucratic, but it's more or less a little bit the same as you see on the left side. The left side is apps on prescription for patients, and the right side, the new law, will be more or less apps on prescriptions for ambulant patients in care, chronic patients, patients with chronic diseases that are maybe at home and where ambulant care providers take care on these kind of patients. And in the future, also here, the usage of digital solution should be increased too. And to speed up also this area, so the German health minister will create a third law. So, but our focus will be now a little bit more on the middle of the Hospital Future Act, but I will explain also a little bit more market data so that you get a better feeling how is the German market structured. So when you go to the next slide, please. So the main question when you ask yourself, is there, when you hear, oh, wow, there is a funding of 4.3 billion euros. So the next question pops up, is there market potential also for me and my solutions? And the core question, or the main question in this context, I think, is a little bit how big is the market. So the German market is the first indicator or key performance indicator is the number of people, what means potential patients. So in Germany, we have at the moment a little bit more than 82 million population, with more or less everybody has a health insurance in Germany in place. So more than 82 million people are insured. 73 million, a little bit more of 73 million with a statutory health insurance, public health insurers. So we call it in Germany GKV, gesetzliche Krankenversicherung, and 8.x million are insured with private health insurer. So in the basic service, there is no difference. Only private health insured people are people with a little bit higher salary, so more wealthy people, and so often private health insurer offers additionally to the basic service, which is the same than in the public health insurance company, a few on top services. So maybe then you have the right, when you have to go into the hospital, that you get your single bedroom. So, and with the public health insurer, it could happen that you are together with 2, 3, or 4 other people in one room together. These are then some differences, but the basic structure, the basic service is the same. So, and then when we look on the market, we don't see only the total amount of insured people. So then we see also, get a better feeling, the number of outpatient and inpatient services. So the outpatient services at the moment are more than 110,000 registered doctors in the field who offers the services to this insured patients. And when we go back to the last slide, only not now, so only we think about what we see on the last slide. So there we have this left part, the DIGA, apps on prescription. This is more or less now this outpatient area. So because this more than 110,000 registered doctors are now the target group, they have to be convinced to prescribe an application for their patients. So if you have a solution with a focus on patient, this is more or less your playground, the outpatient service. When you have digital solutions that you offers to hospitals and you want to take part in this 4.3 billion euro funding, then you have a look on this inpatient service. So in Germany, we have a little bit more than 2,000 hospitals at the moment, with approximately 500,000 beds. There are very, very big hospitals, the university hospitals, which have often an average of 1,500 beds. And then you have also in the countryside some small hospitals with a number of 200, 300, 350 beds. And this is also one reason, this very heterogeneous structure in the hospital size. This is also one reason that the German health minister now supports with his Hospital Future Act, because he's fully aware that smaller hospitals often don't have the financial power to invest in the newest and most innovative solutions that are available on the market. And so that also smaller hospitals can speed up and develop their rate of digitalization. They should be also part in this Hospital Future Act. So the next slide, please. Okay, this is only one short overview when it comes to this outpatient service and the digital applications in the field of app on prescription. You see here the first registered DIGAs, digital health services. So, and only just to get a better feeling, you see here what kind of diseases they take care on. So you have an app for tinnitus, if you have a noise in your ear. you have some apps. So when it comes to anxiety or depression, mental health, so well, more than one. You have apps when you have adipositas, so you have too much weight, and then there's also meanwhile a digital application that accompany you as a patient to lower your weight over a period of time. So, and there will be further registrations in place very soon. At the moment, I think there is in the registration process are more than 30 additional applications. And if you have an application as an Irish company, you can check if there is still market volume for you in Germany as well. And then you can start your registration process. How to apply for a digital health application, you'll find under the link here in the slide. I think you will get the slides afterwards. This is a structured process from the German Health Ministry, but you have to be aware that it takes time, between 3 and 6 months, to get your registration, and the registration is a structured application process where you have to deliver a lot of information, a lot of data, also when it comes to evidence of your application. And this costs not only time, this costs also money. But there are some service providers in Germany, so my company is one of them, that we help companies from abroad in this registration process. So next slide, please. But a little bit more is this Hospital Future Act, based that there is still now funding of 4.3 million euros available. The funding objects are investments that the hospitals will take in specific areas. One focus is to invest in modern emergency capacities. The main topic will be the digital infrastructure for internal and cross-sectoral care. Also very important is when it comes to digital solutions, is the investment in the information security of the hospital, to avoid that you have some data lacks or problems afterwards. So when, not that the hospital will be hacked and all the secured patient data are in the world wherever. So also the information security is very high and a very important topic in this context. So the next slide, please. So requirements in general, who is being supported? So more or less all hospitals in Germany can apply for this money. These are, as I mentioned before, approximately 2,000 of them. But the German government is aware that the big hospitals, mainly the university hospitals, are a little bit more ahead in the grade of digitalization than the smaller ones, because they get also in the past more money, and they are bigger hospitals from the size, with a lot of professors, and there's this often the situation that they start with innovative digital solutions much earlier than smaller hospitals in the countryside. And so every hospital could apply for the money, but the university hospitals only in particular. Only 10% of the total funding of 4.3 billion euros should be spent to university hospitals. And most of the volume should go to the normal, typical hospitals spread all over Germany. What is being promoted? So first, investment cost or what you want to buy, the software, the hardware that you need. So also when you need some additional infrastructure to run the new software, solutions. But in this context, also personal cost, also cost for trainings, also cost for financing could be funded as well. So the government want to avoid that hospitals are not able, based on missing resources, IT resources or resources in project management, that hospitals are not able to invest into new software solutions, while they are not able afterwards to implement and integrate the software into the running environment. And so it's also allowed that money for external consultor, external personnel, and also the implementation, integration, and training costs could be funded as well. So the next slide, please. The question is now, what are potential funding topics? And it could be also interesting for you, if you are interested in this market and you have a solution, to check if your solution fits to a funding topic. What is a funding topic? So the German government was aware that digitalization can be realized in a lot of areas. And they decided, when we put money on the table and spend this 4.3 billion euros to increase the rate of digitalization, we will influence and also monitor that our money, which is public money, should be invested in the right areas for the right topics. And so with this law, they set a frame and make a definition of in total 11 funding topics, where they say, okay, in these areas, we expect an increase in digitalization, so that the hospital invest our money more or less valuable. And what you see here on this slide are the funding topics. The first one, it's, okay, sorry for the German word here, Notaufnahme, it's the emergency area of a hospital. So this means that emergency rooms of a hospital should be in the future on a specific state of the art or technology. The second one, as an example, is patient portals. That means the establishment of patient portals for digital reception and discharge management, which enables a digital exchange of information between service providers and the patient before, upfront a hospital stay, during the hospital stay, and also after the hospital treatment. One example, maybe as a patient, you are still using a wearable to take your vital data permanently. Vital data with an Apple Watch, Fitbit, or Garmin smartwatch could be your blood pressure, your pulse rate, your sleep activities, and so on. And this information could be also very interesting for doctors in the hospitals. And so with the patient portal, it should be it's only one example to make it more visible. It could make sense that when you as a patient start with your hospital stay, that your vital data, your personal vital data, can be transmitted, transferred directly to the hospital information system, because this data could be very interesting and could be also make sense to reuse it. And at the moment, when you see now of this in the current situation in German hospitals, there is no chance to transfer this kind of data. Start also, you get from your doctor in your field some information by paper for the hospital. Yeah, and this is also a printed letter. And then you take the printed letter, go to the hospital, and they have to read the letter and take down all the notes from the letters, which are important for the hospital, into the hospital information system. Very manual, with a lot of labor work, with a lot of breaks in media. And with a patient portal, with an innovative patient portal, you can exchange all these data, digital and electronical. You can streamline your processes. You can optimize the processes. You can save some costs. You can optimize the treatment and increase the treatment quality and the patient quality as well. So the same as with the third topic, care documentation. This is, I mentioned it, an example very early in the beginning when I explained, so the early warning score, to take down vital data in the patient room from the patient directly. You can write it down with a pencil and a paper, or you can type it in directly in a innovative software with a tablet and transfer it to the health information system as well. So this is an example for the third topic, care documentation. Then we have the topic 4, decision-making system, also in context with artificial intelligence. We have topic 5, medication management. Topic 7 is telemedicine and care processes in context with telemedicine. So different topics where you can, as a hospital, start some projects, and when you want to realize and implement software in one of these areas, you can apply for the funding and get the money from the German government. So next slide, please. So here you see an excerpt and short example, because the German government not only define the funding topics, so they go one step further and make then a definition of must and can criteria. So when they say, okay, here you see an example from the patient portal. So in the patient portal, they have the area of digital entry management. So when you start your patient journey in the hospital, so then they make a criteria catalog and say, okay, when you want to invest and build up a patient portal, which must criteria you have to fulfill, or the software has to fulfill, that you want to implement in your hospital environment. And so for each of these topics, you have in a second step a criteria list of must and can criteria that your software has to fulfill, or that the software has to fulfill, that the hospital want to introduce and buy with the funding money. So what does this mean for you? First, you have to check, do you have a software solution which fits into the funding list of the Hospital Future Act? Yes or no? And if yes, then it could be for you. And at the moment, excellent time to enter into the German market when you are interested in internationalization or market expansion. So, and when you jump over the first hurdle and you come to the decision or come to the point that your software can fit perfectly in one of these funding topics, you have to check which criteria and how many criteria of the must and can criteria you met and you can fulfill with your software. And more criteria you can fulfill, then it's better, then it's higher chance for you to market your software directly to German hospitals in the contact with the Future Act. So next slide, please. So 2 further slides, application process and the timelines. So the application process in this law is very structured over a period of 4 years. At the moment, we are more or less in phase 1 and 2. First, you need as a hospital more or less a clear strategy, a digitalization strategy, and you need more or less your a view of your current situation. What is your grade of digitalization? In which fields you are interested to speed up and to develop? So at the end of the phase 1, development of the strategy, you make the decision in which areas you will apply as a hospital for this funding money. And then you came to phase 3. You can then apply for this money. From the timelines, phase 1 and 2 is still ongoing, and you have to apply for this money at the end of this year, latest at the end of this year. And then there are 2 possibilities. You will get a positive
Carsten? Carsten, you are gone? Or is it only me? So excuse me, everybody. I tried to get him on the phone. Can you hear me?
Hi everyone, apologies for that. We seem to have lost our speaker temporarily, but we'll get them back on ASAP. So please do stay on, and we'll restart.
I think I'm back.
Carsten, may I please say or remind you on the time? It's 5 minutes to 11, so 5 minutes left. Maybe we can have some of the questions and to everyone, so the rest of the questions will be answered then in writing, and I'll send them to everyone.
Yeah. So more or less, this is the one further slide. This is then the last slide. So this is the application process that you see with this 3 phases. So, and when you go 1 slide further, and this is then the last slide from my today's presentation. 1/3, yeah. So here you see then also the timelines. So at the moment we are in phase 1 and 2, and this ended at the end of this year, end of December 21. Then it's fixed what kind of solutions you will realize, and the question is then answered for the hospitals. you get money or you don't get the money, and then you can start with the implementation process in the beginning of 2022 with a period of 3 years time. You don't have to start in 2022. You can also postpone to 2023. But if you get the money, you have a time frame of in total 3 years where you have to realize. So when you apply for the money, it's not fixed who should be or who can be your potential supplier. So this is a good story, because if you are interested as an Irish company and you have a potential solution for the German market, then you have now a time frame of 12 months preparation to enter the German market under the storyline of Hospital Future Act, and you can start to market your solutions in this context. And if a hospital gets some money for a funding topic that you meet with your software as well, then you can start selling your software end of the year and in the beginning of next year, and to increase your market expansion also into the German market. So that is more or less my last slide, and I hope I can give you some first ideas and background information, what is going on in Germany, what market chances are still available, especially with this funding now of 4.3 billion euros that German hospitals can invest in the next 4 years to speed up in digitalization. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Carsten. This was really insightful, and as everybody can see, it's nothing that's going to happen tomorrow or the day after, but this is something we can maybe plan together. And whoever is interested, please contact me afterwards. So I got several questions, and some of them are a little bit more complicated to answer, but maybe one with a simple answer. Is there similar funding for nursing homes, long-term care, Carsten?
Not yet, not in this context, but as I mentioned in the slides where I give the overview of the 3 laws, there will be the 3rd law, which will be realized or started in the mid of this year for to speed up the digitalization in care, and this means ambulant care, and I can imagine that there is some potential also for nursing homes as well. But as this law is at the moment still under construction and in discussion, I can't give a 100% right answer. But my personal opinion is yes, I see the potential as well in this area for the future.
Okay, one question, and that might be interesting for everyone, is what kind of funding, grant support can EI provide? This is something we need to discuss individually, but please feel free to contact me afterwards, as I said. Conscious of time, so I think all the other questions will be answered in writing, and I will make them available to everyone after this. The whole session was recorded, so I'll send that around as well. Many thanks, Carsten, for your time and for your very beneficial and informative insights. Many thanks to everyone else for your time and interest. And please contact me if you're interested, and have a good day.
Thanks a lot for the introduction, for the invitation, and yeah, let's stay in contact afterwards if you're still interested. Thanks a lot, and best regards from Hamburg.
Thank you. Bye-bye.